Dean here, NSB Custom Cars. We got the Grand Prix pulled out. I did get the part in to hopefully fix the AC, and unfortunately it didn't fix it. So at this point, I gotta wait till Monday to call them because they're closed during the weekend. So I'm gonna have to call and talk to them a little bit. Also, I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna have to pull the box back out. And to do that, I'm gonna have to drain the system back down. So I did purchase a recovery system. Actually, I think it's supposed to be here today, which is Sunday. But the only thing that's not gonna be here is the tank that you push everything back into. So it'll be next weekend probably before I can get to do all that. So at this point, I went ahead and just pulled the car out. I put it back in the enclosed trailer for at this time, get it out of my way. We brought the drag car back in. I've got some things I'm wanting to put on it. It's getting close to drag season, which pretty much they're running right now at Gainesville this weekend. So drag racing's back in season, so we got to get this thing back up and going. Well, I mean, it's running, but we've had some issues with it in our distributor area. And one of the things that I'm going to be putting on this car is going to be a crank trigger, which goes on the front here. So I'm going to take the front off this and we're going to get this mounted up. So let's get to work on this car and get this thing running. So this is our crank trigger by MSD. Bolt this to the harmonic balancer. And it's going to run around, and you can see it's got these little magnets on it. And then you have the sensor that picks them up so it knows where the crank's at and tells it when the fire. So we're hoping that's going to take it. We're going to phase the distributor in and see if we can't get this going like it needs to be going. So to put this trigger on the crank, I'm going to tear the front off this car. Now when I built this car, I kind of designed this car to where if you're at the track and let's say you're running and you get almost to the end and you're winning and all of a sudden you lose a clutch or something goes down, we got to work on this motor. I've got this designed to where this thing comes apart pretty quick. I can pretty much have this motor out of the car in 20 minutes or less. So let me show you. I'm going to be pulling the front end off of it, which I'm not going to bust it out fast on this because it's not a time restraint here. But I got you set up. I got it up on the lift just so you can see this a little easier. But pretty much the only thing that holds this whole front end on this car is I got a bolt right here. It's 9/16. One bolt right here, 9/16. It's actually bolts nuts. The studs stay in. You just pull these two nuts off. And let me show you what we got over here. So right here where the fender comes down, on the inside, underneath right here, there's another nut. So there's two more nuts, one on this side, one on the other. So there's 4 nuts. Up top, which when I pull the car back down, I'll show you up here, that's the only bolt. There's a bolt on this side and one on the other side. So there's 4 nuts and 2 bolts, the front end's off. So I took this nut off, took the nut off on this side, fender's loose. All you gotta do is loosen them, turn them off right with your fingers. Now, just right in this hole, there's another bolt, which is pretty much the hardest one to get to, but if you come underneath it, ain't that bad. Let you loose it right tight. So another thing, for all the lights that we run on the front, pretty much the same thing goes on your car trailer. Unplug it, all the wiring from the front's done. Pick up. Pull your finger out. Set it down right here for a second. Just hold it right there. So as you can see, that front end comes off really easy. Normally we're pulled up to the trailer or beside the trailer. So the front can come off, we slide it right inside the trailer. I raised it up, we took it out, and we put it back in the trailer. So the next step, I'm gonna work on the front, so no sense in trying to do all this. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the radiator. The radiator ain't but 2 bolts, one here, and all I have to do is loosen these 2 little nuts on the bottom on both sides. This radiator comes right out, but we're going to drain it first. Also, you know, this has got electric fans, so I've got this little plug here. All this is, it's kind of like a 110 house plug, but it does have a different plug on it. It's a sideways plug, but boom, it's ready. All I got to do, pull the radiator out, take a few hoses loose. All right, now we got the crank trigger put on. You got the piece that goes on the harmonic balancer. Then you got the little bracket here that bolts onto the timing chain cover. And then this is the pickup. You got the wires just running up. It actually comes up and plugs in where the distributor was plugged in. You don't need the distributor plugged in no more because this is what's telling it to fire now. We have this set at 36 degrees before. We've already time and light it, set it. The distributor's phased in. We're good to go. Pretty simple. It wasn't that bad to put on. As you can see, this is the pickup. We have about 62 thou in between the pickup and the magnet pickup here. So all I gotta do now is put some casing on my wire and get it zip tied up, and we have this fixed up. So now that we got the crank trigger on, everything's working good on that. I've got a couple other things I need to do. One, on our oil pan here, the 2 oil lines that come in for the pickup, we've got a small leak that seems to be coming out of where the fittings go in. So we're going to be changing the oil, so I'm going to pull the pan, but you can look down here on the floor. I'm getting a little bit of oil coming out of it. I'm going to end up get the oil drained out of it. I'm going to pull the pan off, take these lines loose, and we'll see why these are leaking here. It's got O-rings, when I put it all together, why they want the leak. We got to get that fixed. The other thing I'm going to do, let's come back here to the back. The other thing is my fuel pump. I got this fuel pump mounted here, my filter here, and then I got a filter all the way back here. This fuel pump is up kind of high. This is my fuel tank right here. So this is the bottom, and as you can see where that comes, so if you come to the line, you're up to here. So if you don't have that much fuel in it, it's kind of hard for the fuel to come to it. So I need to lower my fuel pump. So I'm gonna bring it back here to the back of the frame, and I gotta reroute some hoses. And that's the next thing I'm gonna do before I start my oil. So we gotta get the fuel drained out of it by pulling this plug here, draining what fuel is left in it. Then I'm gonna break this line loose, get the fuel out. So we do a quick recap. We got all the new, or the replacement of the fuel system. Move the pump back, farther back, so it'll be down lower. The next thing was moving that from the top hole, the ladder bar down 1 notch. Got that took care of. Remounted the dry shaft sensor. We fixed our oil leak and changed the oil. And we got our crank trigger put in. And last but least, we did put the seat belts in. And right there's the box of our old ones. So that's going to take care of this video. We got this pretty much plumbed up, so we're going to pull it out and bring the Pontiac back in. So don't forget to subscribe and to like us. Till our next video.